The narcissist's failed attempts at reconciliation trigger a psychological crisis that exposes the fragile foundation beneath their grandiose exterior. When their carefully orchestrated return meets unwavering resistance, they experience a devastating collision between their expected reality and actual powerlessness. This rejection strikes at the core of their identity, forcing them to confront the terrifying possibility that they are neither irresistible nor irreplaceable. The emotional journey that follows reveals the true depths of their psychological fragility and their complete inability to process loss with dignity or grace. The escalation of desperate tactics. The narcissist's initial charm offensive transforms into increasingly frantic attempts to provoke any response when their victim remains unmoved. They cycle through their entire manipulation playbook with mounting desperation. Love bombing intensifies, promises become more extravagant, and declarations of change grow more theatrical. Each failed attempt increases their panic, driving them to strategies that grow progressively more transparent and pathetic. When gentle manipulation fails, they shift to psychological warfare designed to destabilize their victim's newfound peace. They may manufacture crises that require their victim's intervention, orchestrate scenarios where accidental contact seems inevitable, or deploy flying monkeys to plead their case. This escalation reveals their fundamental misunderstanding of human emotion. They genuinely believe that persistence will eventually wear down resistance, unable to comprehend that authentic healing has made their victim immune to their tactics. The narcissist becomes trapped in a cycle of escalating desperation that strips away their carefully maintained facade of superiority. They reveal themselves as emotionally desperate and psychologically dependent, exposing the very weakness they have spent years concealing. This loss of composure creates a feedback loop where their increasing desperation makes reconciliation even less likely, yet they cannot stop themselves from trying. The rage of wounded entitlement. When the narcissist finally accepts that their return will not be welcomed, their desperation transforms into volcanic rage. This fury stems from their fundamental belief that their victim belongs to them, making their continued rejection feel like theft of personal property, rather than the exercise of healthy boundaries. They experience their victim's independence as a personal attack on their worth and an intolerable challenge to their sense of control. This rage manifests as vindictive behavior designed to punish their victim for the unforgivable crime of moving forward without them. They may launch smear campaigns, attempt to sabotage their victim's new relationships, or engage in harassment masked as attempts at closure. The intensity of their anger reveals the depth of their psychological dependency. They aren't mourning lost love, but raging against the loss of their emotional life support system. The narcissist's fury also serves as a defense mechanism against the crushing realization of their own replaceability. They cannot tolerate the evidence that their victim has not only survived without them, but has thrived in their absence. This reality shatters their carefully constructed narrative of being uniquely valuable and psychologically indispensable. The collapse into victimhood narrative. When rage fails to restore their sense of control, the narcissist retreats into an elaborate victimhood narrative that recasts their rejection as evidence of their victim's cruelty and ingratitude. They construct detailed stories about how they were the one who truly loved, who sacrificed everything, and who deserved better treatment. This narrative serves to protect their ego from the unbearable truth that they destroyed something valuable through their own actions. The narcissist seeks audiences who will validate their victimhood story, fishing for sympathy and reinforcement of their revised history. They present themselves as the wounded party, conveniently omitting the years of manipulation, emotional abuse, and psychological warfare that preceded their victim's departure. This performance of wounded innocence becomes their new identity, allowing them to avoid accountability while maintaining their self-image as fundamentally superior. The failed reconciliation ultimately forces the narcissist to either find a new source of supply or face the terrifying prospect of sustained self-reflection. Most choose the former, quickly moving on to a new target who can provide the validation their previous victim no longer offers, proving that their desperate attempts at return were never about genuine love but about psychological survival.